Hi, my name is Jacob, and I'm going to be a junior at Los Altos High School. For my starter project, I made a LED scanner, which basically just displays LEDs in different patterns, and you can customize it. And for my main project, I made a voice-controlled vehicle. So I'm always interested in robotics, so I wanted to build one. And voice control seemed cool, so I did that. And now I'll show you a demo. Robot. Move to forward. Turn left. Okay, so as you can see, this robot has two servos, two continuous rotation servos that are connected to wheels to actually make it move, and a caster wheel in the front to make the movement more smooth. And it's all powered by an Arduino, which is the microcontroller it uses. And for the voice recognition, it uses an EasyVR Shield, which you can think of as an attachment to the Arduino so it can do more things. And in this case, voice recognition. And I've also added these three LEDs in to make the user interface more user-friendly, and I'll explain that later. So how this code works is the Arduino runs on an infinite loop. So I take this to my advantage and just wait for the user to say a word. And if the Arduino recognizes that word and it's also part of the group that it's listening to, it'll do a command based on that. And these range from changing the servo speeds, changing the time that the servos will move for, and just changing the groups. So you heard me say a number or two before. So I built a range of 1 through 10, and those are the amount of feet this robot will move. And the way I did that was I basically just brute forced it and tested how many milliseconds it takes the robot to move a certain amount of feet, and you multiply that by the amount you want to move, and you get the amount of feet. And these three LEDs, my voice recognition has 4 groups. One is robot, just for the robot to start listening, and then 3 others, which are demonstrated by the LEDs. So I wasn't really a fan of shouting at the robot and waiting for it to respond, or maybe never. So I built these 3 LEDs to help me debug and kind of figure out if the robot was actually listening or not. And the biggest challenge I faced while I was building this robot was the coding. So not a lot of people have actually used this and documented them online. So I had these broken code fragments that didn't really work, and I had to construct them all together to build an actual working one and modify it so it worked correctly. And so BlueStep overall has been a really enlightening experience. So the biggest takeaway is just how difficult some problems are to solve, and you should never give up, even if it takes 10 or so times. And even if you can't figure it out, then find a way to work around it. For example, one of my servos, I think I just got it broken or something. And so it moves backwards when it's supposed to move forwards, and after a day or so, I just gave up. And so all my code looks really weird now, and one servo is moving backwards, one servo is moving forwards. But both of them are moving forward because servos are interesting. And I've also found out that I'm much more of a software guy than a hardware guy, because building the software felt much more rewarding to me than actually building the robot.
Mm-hmm. So how did the voice control work, voice recognition work?
When there's a microphone. You say
how do you differentiate the commands you actually say?
It comes with the program, and you have to basically train each command to your own voice. And there are a set of built-in words, so they've already trained it so that I can listen to a multitude of voice. And that's what I used because I had a cold a few days ago, and my voice kept on changing, so I couldn't build in my own commands because next day I couldn't test anything because it wouldn't recognize my voice.
So how did you come up with the idea of using the LED to show it's recognize the word you said?
Also, EasyVR doesn't come with a speaker or anything, so I can tell when it goes. And I shouted at the robot aimlessly for around a day before ways to kind of tell if the voice recognition would work or not. So I found LEDs and they helped me.
Wouldn't it make sense that one would be going forward and one would be going backwards since the way you attach the servos?
No, they're attached the same way.
Yeah, since they're attached the same way, they're flipped in opposite directions, right?
No, perhaps, but I don't.
Yeah. Does it make sense?
No, I tested them individually. I actually took them off.
Well, yeah, they'll both spin the same way when you take them off, right?
Yeah, no, they
So how many commands you can store in the Arduino?
So it comes with around 20 built-in commands, and then you're given 10 groups. Each of them can have up to 32 commands.
Okay. Typically, how far you can speak from the...
I'm honestly not sure. My voice isn't the loudest, so I kind of have to stand next to it. But I mean, supposedly, in a really quiet room, you can go across the room, and if you shout at it, it might listen.
I have same question for you, like I asked other guys. Servo motors, like this is a continuous servo, right? So it moves 360. Why did you use this servo like continuous? Even DC motor can work 360 with, you can control it with any encoder or maybe edge bridge. So why did you use 360 servos instead of?
So these ones, first of all, they're easier to mount, so I don't have to mount something circular because it's harder. Also, I can customize the speed on these a lot easier because the servo library allows me to, like from a range from 90 to 180, exactly like however much I want.
But you're moving from here to here, right? So it
Yeah.
moves like 360 3 times, 4 times, right? If I take a DC motor, then DC motor has more speed, more RPM, maybe more torque compared to servos if you use like a good DC motor. So do you find any benefits of servo using over DC motor?
Obviously, as I said before, it's easier to mount. Also, I just found a lot, like, servos are kind of plug and play, and there's a lot more, like, programs already built in that help you with that in case you're new to Arduino, which I was.